So today we'll be studying about shell programming or essential shell programming. Okay, so these are the topics we are going to study under this chapter. So shell programs run in interpretive mode. That means it can also take the input from the user, and each statement, whatever we write in shell program, will be loaded into the memory when it is executed. Okay. The programs I already showed you a sample shell program. Okay, when we started with the first module, the first session, I had executed a simple shell program. So what is the extension? Can anybody tell me what is the extension we use for shell program?
.sh.
.sh. Okay, and the shell program supports almost all the functionalities like syntax, like if statements, switch statements, exit. Okay, you can see here it supports different if statement, while statement, for case controls, whatever you have in C program. Almost every statements are supported even in shell programming. Okay, exit status. Okay, you can take user using read. So these are the things we are going to study. So moving on to the first topic, okay, ordinary and environmental variables. In shell programming, we have two types of variables basically. So first one is ordinary, another one is environmental variables. Okay. The environmental variables controls the behavior of the system. Okay. So these variables, they interact with the shell system, okay, and then they will give you the output. They determine the environment in which the user works. So these are some of the examples. Okay, I already executed this. Okay, echo dollar path. Okay, so this will give you the path which the shell will use to search to execute the commands. Dollar home, the shell that you are using. Dollar user, the current user. Okay, so these are the few examples for the environmental variables. Okay, these variables are not created by you. Okay, it is already built in. Okay, we can tell it is a built-in variable. In the C, we have built-in variable and user-defined variables, right? Same way. So these are, we can tell it is a built-in variables. Okay. Now coming to the ordinary variables, these are the variables, they are local to the particular user's shell. That means they are created by the user. Okay. So when you terminate or when you come out of the terminal, these variables are deleted. Okay. But whereas if you go for environmental variables, they remain in the system, okay, even though you terminate the system. So this is an example for the ordinary variable. The variable name is a test of type string. Okay, the value that we are giving for this variable is string. So this is the value we have given Unix programming. Okay. And if you go for echo dollar test, it will display the value. You can see here. So test is equal to Unix test echo dollar test. Okay, don't use simply test echo. So whenever we are defining the variable, we are not using any dollar, but if you want to display, if you want to access the value, okay, then you have to use the dollar name of the variable, dollar test. Okay, then it will display the value Unix. Okay. So simply if you write echo test, then it will display that test. Okay. So this is about ordinary and environmental variable. The next one is a dot profile file. So there is a special file, we call it as dot profile file. So this file is a shell script that will be present in the home directory of every user. You can see here. So here you can find a file called as dot profile. Correct. So in every operating system, uh, yeah, Unix or Linux operating system, you can find a file called as dot profile. So here in this dot profile, it's a start of a file of Unix user. Okay. So whenever we are starting the system, Unix system, so this file will be used as a startup file, or we call it as a boot file. Okay. So this is a startup file, and it will be having the information like what type of terminal you are using. Okay. What are the paths that will be used by the shell to search for to execute the commands. So all those things will be there in this file, that is dot profile file. You can see the dot profile file. So these are the things we'll be having in dot profile file. What language we are using. Then some of the instructions, instruction that is required to start executing the commands. Okay, so all those things will be there in this dot profile file. So moving on to the next important topic, that is shell scripts. Shell scripts, or we call it as shell programming. Okay, so in the exam you may get programs to write. Okay, so they will give the question same as C programming. You have to write the program in shell scripts. So when a group of commands has to be executed regularly, they should be stored in a file, correct? So when you want to execute any group of commands, you cannot execute individual commands. You want to execute group of commands. For example, I want to execute 5 commands at a time. Then in that case, what we have to do, you have to store those 5 commands in a file. Okay, so that file where you are having Unix commands, that files are called as shell program file or shell scripts. Okay, so what we'll be having in shell script or shell program, you will be having group of commands. Okay. So here we have an example. So first we will discuss about, I'll show you a simple program. Okay, this is a simple shell program. You can see here I have this is the starting line. It is not a comment. Okay, so it is an instruction telling the shell that I am using. Okay, so search this path to execute the commands. Okay, the shell need to search this command path to execute the program. Okay, so there will be here we will be having the files to execute the commands. Okay. So you can see that path. Bin. Okay. So inside bin you can find so many files. Okay, so these are the files required for executing the program. Then we have echo command. So echo is for, we have already studied, right? You remember echo commands and all, printf, echo. Why echo is used? Why echo command is used? Why echo command is used? Hmm?
To print.
Okay, to display the
Disclaimer.
message. Okay. Then here you can see here today's date. Okay, and for displaying the date, what is the command used? What is the command used? Date, correct? Okay, so if I want to print the date, okay, so you have to write it like this. Okay, place it within the double quote and you have to just use the symbol. Okay, this is not a single quote, so you have to use this symbol. And then this month's calendar. Okay, I want to display date. Okay, if I want to display date, I'll be using date command. And if I want to display calendar, I'll be using cal command. Okay, and these are the information date. Okay, I want to display percentage and year. And last, I want to display the shell. Okay, what shell I am using. Okay, there are different type of shell, bond shell, conch shell, and all. What type of shell the Unix system is using. Okay, so I'll execute this. To execute, we have to use sh. Write the name of the file script.sh. You can see here. This is the output. So first it will display welcome to the shell programming. Okay, welcome to the shell programming. Today's date. Okay, so then this date command. Okay, so date command, make sure that you have to place it within this symbol. Okay, so today's date, it will display the complete date. Okay, then this month's calendar. Okay, this month calendar, it will display this message, this month calendar, and it will display the calendar. Okay, so you can see here, it will display year. Okay, so this is, I'm telling I want 2020. Okay, and it will display the month, this October month. Okay, and here it will display shell. So this small example you can give. Okay, this one simple example you can give. Suppose, okay, so suppose sometime what happens is you are creating the file, okay, and that file will not be having any execute permission. Okay, suppose the file is not having the execute permission. How will you give an execute permission for a file? What is the command used for giving the execute permission? What is the command used for giving the execute?
chmod.
So what is the command that is used for changing the permission? Can you hear me?
chmod.
Okay, chmod. Okay. Sometime directly if you give sh script name, okay, directly if you execute like this, okay, it is not possible because the file may not be having the execute permission. In that case, you have to give the execute permission. Okay, there are different ways you can go for absolute mode or relative mode. Okay, so this is the relative mode where I'm giving all the permissions. Okay, execute permission for all the groups. Okay, plus X. So this will give the execute permission for the file script.sh. Okay, and then execute the file script.sh. Okay. So this is a simple example you can view. Suppose if they ask you explain shell script with an example. Okay, is it clear? Any doubt in this example? Hmm? A very simple example where you have date and calendar command. Is it clear? So when you write for the exam, write the code, okay, write the script as well as write the output. Okay. So this complete thing you are supposed to write. Okay, starting from ch mode. Starting from ch mode till here you have to write. Is it clear? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
So the next one, so the next topic we'll be discussing about read command. Okay, there are two commands, read and read only commands. So first we'll discuss about read command. Okay. So read is something like your scanf statement we have in C. So read is meant for taking the input from the user. Okay. Or in other words, we can tell it is used to make the script interactive. Okay. So we have an example. So this is an example where we have read commands. You can see here we are having here a read command. Okay. Here, this is a program where we are executing the grep command. Okay. So what is the syntax of grep command? Grep, what is it here? You have to write the, what is the syntax of grep command? Grep followed by, what is the second argument? What is the second argument? What is the third argument? Hmm? Hmm? What is the second argument? What is the third argument? Sorry, what is the grep command? There are two arguments. What is the first argument called as? What is this first argument called as?
Pattern name.
Pattern name. Okay. What is the second argument is called as?
File name.
File name. Okay. So now what we are doing is we are asking the user to input the pattern. Okay. As well as you are asking the user to input the file. Okay. Directly we are not specifying here pattern name and file name, but instead we are taking the input from the user. Okay. So first what we are doing, first we are asking the user to enter the pattern to be searched. Okay. So read p name. Okay. Don't use dollar. Okay. When you are reading, don't use dollar. Then ask the user to enter the file name. So that will be stored in the variable f name. Okay. And then we are executing the grep command. Grep, here you have to use the dollar because you are fetching that variable. Okay. Dollar p name, that is a pattern name. Dollar f name, that is a file name. Okay. So see here, sh, okay, script2 dot sh. Okay. What it is asking? Enter the pattern to be searched. Okay. So I will give India. I'll give the pattern to be searched, that is India. Which variable? P name. Okay, it will be the pattern, whatever I entered, it will be stored in the variable P name. Enter. Then it will ask, enter the file to be used. Enter the file to be used. Write the name of the file. So I'll give one.txt. Okay. That one.txt will be stored in variable f name. Okay. And next command will be grep. Okay. So next it will go for this grep command and it will display the message searching for the pattern searching for the pattern India from the file 1.txt, and it will execute this grep command. Okay, and in 1.txt, you can see I have a pattern India, correct? So that pattern will be displayed here. Okay. So selected records shown above. Is it clear? So this is one of the simple example for read. Okay, for read statement. So in the exam, they may ask you explain read statement. How read statement can make script interactive. Explain with example. Okay. So this simple example you can give and write the output. Okay. When you write an exam, okay, write even the output. Clear? Any doubt in this example? Script.sh in this? Any doubt? Are you clear with the read statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Understood? Yes?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. So the next one is read only. Okay, read only command. So read only, it is used for making variable read only. Okay, the constant, you cannot change the value. Okay. For example, what I do is I create a variable, okay, and I am using here read only. Okay, read only, the variable I create v, and with the value v1, v is equal to 1. Okay, I'm setting the value for the variable v is equal to 1, and I made it as read only. Now what I do is I try to change the value of v. Okay. In that case, it will display the error telling that v is read only variable. So read only variable is only for you can only read the value. You cannot make any change to the value. Okay. So this is a simple example for read only. Okay. If you declare any variable read only, you cannot change its value. It will give the error. Okay. So in the program, you can make certain variable read only. So the next one is using command line arguments. The next topic will be studying using command line arguments. Okay. You have studied in C, correct? Command line arguments, isn't it? From the command itself, from the terminal itself, we can view the input. Correct. The same way in Unix also, shell script also accepts argument from the command line. Okay. So even shell will accept arguments from the command line. So here we have a term called as positional variables. Okay, you have to understand this term, positional variables. So whenever you are assigning the argument in the shell script, okay, here for example, you are giving here, okay, for example, I am writing here grep command and I am giving here two arguments. Okay, these are two arguments. So grep is a command and there are two arguments. Whenever you are specifying any argument in the shell, okay, this arguments will be assigned to a special variable. Okay, these arguments will be assigned to the special variable which we call it as positional parameters. Okay, you can see an example here. So here we have $0, $1. Okay, so these are all positional parameters. Okay. So similar to C, in C we have argue V0. Okay, so this will be having the first argument. ARG1, it will be having the second argument. Similarly, In Unix, we have $0 and $1. Okay. See, this is an example. Okay. And I am having here two arguments. This is the name of the file. Okay. These are two arguments. Now here there will be three positional variable $0, $1 and $2. Okay. Now $0, it is a positional parameter. This will be having the first argument. So what is the first argument? Okay, it is the name of the file. So $0 will be always having the name of the file, or it will be having the name of the command. Okay, so when you are executing the file, so $0 will be having the name of the file, and the $1 will be having the second argument. Okay, so I can say $0, not argument. You can say it is $0 will be having the name of the file, and $1 will be having the first argument. Okay, $2 will be having the second argument. Is it clear? So we can go with the number. $1 means first argument, $2 means second argument, $0 means name of the file or name of the command. Okay. Similarly here, this is one more example. Okay. So here $0 will be having name of the command, $1 is having the first argument, $2 is having the second argument. Is it clear? So on $3 will be having the third argument. Suppose if we have third argument, okay, then $3 will be having the third argument. Okay. Then there are few more positional parameters. Okay. For example, $hash. If you are giving $hash, it will be having the number of arguments. Okay. For example, how many command? How many arguments we are having here? How many arguments are there in this grep? Grep India 1.txt. How many arguments? How many arguments? How many arguments are there in this example? Naresh?
2, ma'am.
2. Okay. So here I am having 2 arguments. So if I want to get the 2 arguments, number of arguments 2, then I have to use $hash. Similarly, $star, I can use $star if I want to get all this argument to be displayed. Okay, if I want to have all this argument to be displayed as a single string, okay, not 2 arguments, it will be displayed as a single string. Okay, so India and 1.txt will be considered as a one common string. Okay, in $star. So let me give an example. So this is a simple example. The first line, it is called as interpreter line. Okay, so remember this line is called as interpreter line. Okay, so this line here we are having hash and dollar. Okay, so hash and dollar, followed by that the name of the path, that is a path name. So this is a path name that will be used by the shell for running the script. Okay, and here we are having an echo statement, program $0, program $0. So if I write like this, India, sh script 1.sh India 1.txt. Okay. Program $0. What $0 will have? What $0 will have? What will be the output? Echo program $0. What is executing like this? If I'm executing like this, okay, what will be the output? $0. What is $0? How will be the output? Nikita. Nikita. Rashmita.
Name of the command will be the output.
Okay, here do I have the name of a command? Do I have any command here in this? Do I have any command here? I don't have any command here, right? But I have a name of the file here. Whether that will be stored in $0?
Yes.
Okay. So $0 will be having the name of the file. So what is the name of the file here? script1.sh. Okay. So $0 will be having script1.sh. Number of arguments specified is, what is $hash? Number of arguments. How many arguments are I having? India 1.txt. Correct. So it is 2. So that 2 will be stored in $hash. Okay. Then arguments are. So here we have one more, that is $@. So if I'm writing $@, so it will display each quoted string treated as a separate argument. Okay. So it will display both the arguments, but each argument will be treated separately. Okay. Then it will execute the grep command $1 and $2. What is $1 will be having? What is the value that is stored in $1? What is the value that is stored in
India.
India? $2?
1.txt.
1.txt. So it will execute grep India 1.txt. That means in file 1.txt, we will be searching the pattern India. Okay. So after that, it will show the output and it will display the message job over. So see here. So this is output. Okay. So it will display program $0. So $0, it will be name of the file. Script1.sh. Number of arguments. How many arguments? 2 arguments. Then arguments are, what are the arguments? India and 1.txt. After executing the grep command, it will display the output. So I have one India, it will display that. Then it will display the message job over. Is it clear? So instead of $@ I can also make use of $. Okay. So both will give the same output here. This also prints India and 1.txt. So I can use $@ or I can use $. Okay, both you can make use. Okay. Clear, right? Any doubt in this example? So very important concept. Okay. How to take input using command line arguments. Okay. So these are the concepts very important. Okay, when you study further programs, okay, you must know what is read, what is command line argument, what is $0, what is $1, $2, $@. Okay, clear, right? Any doubt in this example? So in the exam, same way, if they ask you write this program, okay, write similar program or you can write the same program, okay, and explain what is $0, $1 and all, and write the output. Okay, clear, right? Any doubt in this? So moving on to the next topic, exit and exit status. I hope this is clear. The next one is exit and exit status of a command. So we have studied exit, correct, in C. Why exit is used in C? Why exit is used in C? Exit. Why exit is used? Rohit?
To come out of the program.
Okay, to terminate the program. Correct. So here, okay, here we have that is exit in shell. Okay, to exit function in C. So here in exit command, we generally have the command is generally run with the numeric argument. Okay, exit 0. So in shell program, we use exit 0, exit 1. Okay, so exit is used along with a numeric command, numeric value. We don't write like this. Okay, in C we write like this, correct? Exit function, correct? But here we simply write exit with a numeric value, that is 0 or 1. So if I write exit 0, so it tells used when everything went fine. So if everything is fine, okay, you want to continue the program, okay, you can write exit 0. Suppose if something went wrong, okay, you want to terminate the program, you want to come out of the program. In that case, you have to write exit 1. Clear? Exit 0 for success and exit 1 is for failure. Okay. For example, suppose I'm trying to open a file which doesn't exist. Okay, I'm trying to open a file which doesn't exist. Okay, I'm trying to display the file foo, FOO. That file is not available here. You can see here. We don't have the file with the name FOO. Okay, I'm trying to display that file. Okay, see here, it is telling no such file or directory. In that case, okay, this cat command, it will return a non-zero exit status. Okay, it will return non-zero. That means non-zero means any 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, not 0. Okay, 0 means it is always for success. Non-zero value telling that you cannot open the file. Okay. Now here in exit we have a parameter called as dollar question mark. Okay, it's very important. There is a parameter similar to $0, $1, whatever we have studied, right? Same way, here we have a parameter dollar question mark. So dollar question mark is used to get the exit status of the previously executed command. It is used for the exit status of the previously executed command. For example, look at here. I'm executing cat command. Okay, I'm trying to open this file. Okay, I want to know the exit status. Okay, so I have to use parameter dollar question mark. What is exit status? It will return 1. So 1 means what? It is something went wrong. Okay, so this dollar question mark, it will display the exit status. So here it will return 1. Okay, so let me try to open a file which exists, 1.txt. So I have this file here, 1.txt, correct? I'm trying to display that file. Okay, I want to know the exit status. What it will give? It will open and it will display the content of the file, cat command. Okay, we will be using cat command for display the content of the file, and finally it will display the exit status. What it is displaying? it is displaying 0. So 0 means it is telling everything went fine. Okay, so this is about exit and exit status of command. Clear? Any doubt in this? Any doubt in exit and exit status? Understood. Understood, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Logical operators. The next topic is logical operators for conditional execution.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have already studied about, in C we have studied logical operators, right? What are the logical operators we have in C? What are the logical operators? Okay. To name, basically we have two logical operators. One is and, another one is or. Correct. So in shell, okay, we have two operators that allows conditional execution. So these logical operators, they are used for conditional execution. So they are and, okay, which is represented using 2 ampersand, and this is for or. Okay, so I have an example here, command 1 and command 2. Okay, so this tells command 1, okay, so here the delimiter for and, the delimiter is 2 ampersand. So command 2 will be executed only when command 1 is successful. Okay, only if command 1, only then command 2 is executed. Correct, right? And you have already studied in C programming, right? And command 1 is true, only then command 2 will be executed. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, conditional execution, because you need when writing the programs. So the next one is or, which is represented using 2 pipe, okay, which plays the reverse role. That means command 2 will be executed only when the command 1 is failed. Okay, so remember here in and, command 2 will be executed only when command 2 is successful. But here command 2 will be executed only when the command 1 is false or failed. Yeah, right. So we have some examples. You have to tell me the output. Shall execute, you will be telling, you have to tell the output. So grep, what will be the output here? If I'm executing like this, what will be the output?
Pattern found.
Pattern found. Okay, whether we will get the output of this, whether this command will be executed, and whether it will display the output of grep command. Okay, so here in a logical and, the first command will be executed. Okay, you get the output of that first command, and if you are able to execute successfully the first command, and then it will go and display the second command. Okay, see the output. What it will do? First it will display the first command output. Okay, that is Z you have in this, so it will display that, and then it will display the output of the second command, that is pattern found. Okay. What will be the output of this? What will be the output of this? Whether I'll get any output, whether it will grep capital letter China 1.txt. Whether this command will be giving the output, whether this command is executed.
No.
No. So in grep China.txt, we don't have any capital letter China here, right? So that in that case, the first command will not be executed. So if the first command is not executed, the second command will not be executed. Okay. Only if the first command executes successfully, okay, if you are able to execute successfully this command, only then you will be able to get the output of the second command. Okay. Now look at here. What happens here? What are the OR symbol tells? OR symbol tells second command will be executed only if the first command fails. Whether the first command fails here? Yes. The first command we are not able to get the pattern China, correct? The first command fails. Okay. You can see here. So first command fails. Okay. So that is why the second command will be executed. What if it is like this? See the output. I have India in 1.txt. Okay. Or I'm displaying this. What will happen? It will give, okay, it will give only the output of the first command. So if you are using or here, so first command, if it is executed successfully, then it will not go for the second one. Only it will display first output. Okay. Only or. Okay. Or means one, not both. One command will be executed, either this one or this. Okay. If this command is executed, okay, first command if it is executed, second command it will not execute. Okay. If the second command, first command is not executed, then it will check the second command and it will execute the second command. Clear? Any doubt in this ampersand and or? Any doubt? So like this, you have to give the example. Okay, in the exam. Is it clear? So next topic is if condition. Okay. So if condition we will discuss in the next session. So in today's session we discussed how to create a simple shell script. Okay. Then we discussed about read statement, how to get the input from the user. Next we discussed about getting the input from the command line argument. Okay. What are the positional parameters? Next we discussed about exit and exit status. And the last we discussed about logical operator and or.